All right, it's time to break the narrative of mostly peaceful protesters, that unmarked police are randomly kidnapping innocent civilians off of the streets, and that Trump's newest operation, Operation Legend, is an authoritarian abuse of power. Let's start off with the mostly peaceful protesters. Throughout the past 2 months since the George Floyd riots began, you may have heard this phrase from our media once or twice.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly, but fires have been started.
Or maybe you've heard Democrat politicians from cities like Portland and Chicago share that there is no need for federal agents to enter their city because everything is under control.
Portland, Oregon is not out of control. To be sure, there are some people who have strong feelings, and there are some who have done things that are inappropriate and unlawful.
We can't put anything past the Trump administration. I'm hopeful that they will not be foolish enough to bring that kind of nonsense to Chicago, but I'm also not naive, and we're going to be diligent, and we're going to be ready, and if we need to stop them, we are going to.
Hundreds of federal troops descending upon our city, and what they're doing is they are sharply escalating the situation. Their presence here is actually leading to more violence and more vandalism.
So let's dig a bit deeper into why President Trump announced Operation Legend, an operation named after fatally shot 4-year-old Legend Taliaferro. It's an operation launched to send federal troops to cities that have been overridden with violent crime, specifically those who have suffered most from their movements to defund or even abolish the police. Let's start off with Portland. This city is currently on their 56th day of rioting, and I don't use the term rioting lightly. For the past few weeks, anarchists in the city have attempted to burn down the federal courthouse, have burned and looted several businesses, and have left many citizens and independent journalists beaten in the streets. Just last night, Ted Wheeler, the mayor of Portland, took a walk through these protesters to show just how peaceful they are, blaming escalating violence on federal troops after they fired off tear gas.
I'm not gonna lie, it stings, it's hard to breathe, and I can tell you with 100% honesty, I saw nothing that provoked this response.
After his night out on the streets, the media in a frenzy began reporting about how federal agents tear-gassed Mayor Wheeler. But let's take a look at some of the videos the media won't show you. For example, hundreds of anarchists pelting police with projectiles, such as canned foods, frozen water bottles, and rocks, starting fires in an attempt to burn down the federal courthouse and kill the agents inside, and being warned up to 6 times before agents actually fired off any tear gas.
This is the 6th warning that tear gas may be used.
The media won't show you this either. Mayor Wheeler ended up having to be escorted out of the mob by his security as the scene became violent when mobs of rioters continued to berate, attack, and throw things at him.
You're gonna be here every fucking night!
Doesn't really seem like he has things under control. And based off of what we're seeing, maybe Trump does have a reason to send federal troops into this violent and untamed mob. Rumors have been circulating that President Trump has already rolled out a police state in the area with secret, unmarked police kidnapping innocent protesters right off the street. This video from Portland, which has been viewed more than 12 million times, exposes these secret police and has been shared by numerous governors, senators, and media outlets. So who are these dangerous unmarked police? Acting CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan exposes who they really are.
There has been a tremendous amount of false information out there. I've seen news reporting after news reporting, tweet after tweet saying, quote, unidentified, masked stormtroopers. Again, I want to foot stomp on the secretary said. It is offensive to refer to these dedicated men and women that are out there as law enforcement professionals to make that reference. It is disgusting. And it's also a lie. As we can see, we've shown you time and time again. So you saw the markings that Deputy Director Klein put out. I wanted to blow that up to show you. Our board TAC agents, for example, this is the identification every single one of them has on their uniform. And this is a baseline. This is a baseline. I wanted to bring a real live version. This is what they're wearing. This is a real live version of what they're wearing. And this is a baseline of all the different identifications that they have. So first and foremost, you see clearly marked that they are part of the Customs and Border Protection. The second line of marking is it shows the component within CBP that they're associated with. In this instance, Border Patrol. Clearly police. It's marked on the front and the back, clearly, every single agent. In addition to that, they have a unique identifier. Deputy Director Klein said he doesn't have his officers wear name tags because they're being doxxed. That's exactly right. That's another thing that's absolutely disgusting. So they're not only jeopardizing the lives of the agents, but they're also jeopardizing the lives of their families as they're putting out their home information and they're suggesting that individuals go to their homes.
So the police are actually clearly marked, despite what politicians and our very own media are saying. Police are not wearing name tags because officers and their families are being doxxed, and the police are using unmarked cars because, as we've seen numerous times, police cars are targeted, attacked, and burned. But let's just chop that up to one bad city. Let's try looking at a different Democrat-run area that Trump has targeted as a place in need of federal troops. Let's take a look at Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has declared that federal troops are not needed in her city and that all they would serve to do is terrorize her citizens. But keep in mind that so far this year, Chicago has seen over 1,900 people shot. That's already 550 more than in 2019, and we're only halfway through 2020. And this is also the city that saw children fatally shot for 4 consecutive weekends. But let's get back to the peaceful protesters in this city that isn't ridden in crime. Last Friday, mostly peaceful protesters attempted to tear down a Christopher Columbus statue at Grant Park in Chicago. The peaceful protest ended with 49 police officers injured, with 18 sent to the hospital, 1 with a broken eye socket, and another with a broken kneecap. Police shared video of the peaceful protesters who descended on police officers, exposing how the group used large protest banners and open umbrellas as shields for people to change into all-black clothes and form an attack squad. They then dismantled the PVC pipe used to hold up the banners. It was pre-sharpened for protesters, and they used the pipes to jab at officers once they got close enough to them. The video also shows a man dumping out various weapons for use, such as frozen water bottles, frozen cans of food, rocks, and fireworks. A firework was also thrown in the face of a police officer, leaving him potentially blinded in one eye for the rest of his life. Also at this protest was 18-year-old activist Miracle Boyd. She became a loud voice against police brutality after the media alleged a cop knocked out her front tooth. She shared that she had done nothing to instigate the situation and was only there to de-escalate. Local and national media picked up the story of a peaceful black activist who was brutally punched in the face by a police officer, resulting in people donating over $80,000 to Miracle's GoFundMe. To which her and her friend responded, "White people love a sob story, and the police just made her rich as hell."
Anyways, look, we just gonna do this. GoFundMe bust on bro. These white people love a sad sob story.
Daddy, my friend really just got rich as hell off this shit for it. The police really didn't do shit but just make her rich as fuck for no reason.
They lame as hell.
They lame as fuck, folk.
However, video release shows that Miracle was not actually punched in the face, counter to what the media was reporting. But it was her phone, which was knocked out of her hand by a police officer, that ended up knocking out her tooth. She even admitted this. Video also surfaced of Miracle before the altercation with the officer. She can be seen continuously antagonizing and provoking police officers despite being told to get back, shoving her phone in several officers' faces, and getting between police as they tried to make an arrest.
I got it! Oh, bro! Get
the fucking phone out of here.
She also admitted that she continuously antagonized police throughout the night and engaged in illegal activity, boasting about spitting on police and throwing food in their faces and breaking windows throughout the city.
I'm dead ass in police officers' face. Spit on their ass, throwing water at their ass, throwing food at their ass. I did not give no fuck. I'm not scared of no fucking police. I could have got arrested, G, with this shit. Yes, I was down there breaking windows, fucking talking about, on camera with poles and shit. Yes, I was. Fuck you talking about breaking Fifth Third Bank's glass windows, breaking K Jewelers windows. Yes, I was.
It seems that Operation Legend is something that's very necessary, but many are trying to frame Trump as an authoritarian who is illegally using federal troops to terrorize innocent protesters and civilians. But as we can clearly see, the media is keeping the truth of these violent radicals hidden from public view, amplifying false stories of police brutality, and glorifying the violent anarchists terrorizing our streets under the guise of mostly peaceful protesters. This has been Savannah Hernandez for Action 7 News.